Very nice. Wow, Dylan, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I saw the video today. Who produced the video? Did you have a hand in it?
The lyric video is
Yeah.
actually, so that came out, back in April, and we did it ourselves. We
Okay.
actually took content from like just footage of being out on the road.
Different cities that you were
Different
traveling
cities.
through?
It's cool because like watching back, like I can kind of picture where all the places are and like traveling through those earlier this year, which is fun.
And it's funny you say that because you said earlier, like, this is your 104th radio show. So you've literally traveled since April. So my first question to you is, now that you're gold status or presidential status, it hurts. What's the first car you want to take that's on the lot? You're like, I want that Lambo for next weekend.
Like 4 weeks ago, we were in Vegas, and this was right when we got it, and we went out and we were like, "What's your fancy?" We just got we were like, "How does this work?" And they took us to this aisle that had all like the fancy cars,
Right.
And they were like, "You can take this one or this one or this one," and we were just overwhelmed. We ended up going with a Ford Mustang convertible.
Okay.
And it was cool because we took it. We had the radio stops in Vegas, but then we also took it out to the 101 down in California.
Yep.
Because we had to do like San Luis Obispo and
perfect.
Santa Barbara and just going down. So yeah.
Well, especially in Vegas, you need a convertible to take the top off so you can see all the lights in the hotels.
It was like 115 out though, so that was kind of the downfall.
So you need to turn the air conditioning on full blast.
Right. It didn't do much of a difference.
You've been traveling all across the country, and I said to you earlier, I wanted to apologize to you for running. Like, it seemed like we just kept crossing paths in the night in the hallways at CRS, Country Radio Seminar, for those of you that don't know what it is. Every time we'd stop to talk, I'd get interrupted or you'd get interrupted, and we never connected until here we are today. So I publicly would just want to apologize to you for not getting to sit with you for longer periods of time.
You're complete. That's how CRS is.
I know
like,
it is.
For all these people that are watching, and like, that's how CRS. It's crazy. It's like all radio all across America just come together into one like hotel basically.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just craziness for like a whole week.
And coming from Seattle and starting your country music career, did you ever think that you'd be at this point? I mean, you have a mountain to climb every day, and you get to that point, you're like, all right, what am I faced with? And here's what's going to look like. Starting then and looking at yourself now, is this everything that you thought it would be? And is there any more that you're like, I have to keep going, get bigger and bigger?
I think I always, that's kind of the person inside of me is always want to do something more. No matter where you're at, you're always striving for that next level. But for me, looking back, like all I've ever wanted to do my whole life is just tour year round. And this year has picked up so much. So we've been to so many different places that like it's really becoming a reality, and we're just living it.
And you're not just touring America; you were in China as well. You got a chance to go. I mean, that's
I got to go
pretty
to China.
incredible.
Yeah, it was January of this year. We went out to China and then flew down to Australia. We did like 6 dates in Australia in January, which was incredible.
What was it like for those people in the crowds there to embrace country music?
It's a different kind of crowd. It's kind of like, because we've done Australia and we also did the UK, and the crowds over there, they so intently listen to what you're doing.
Right.
You do like say a festival in the US and everyone's there to have a good time and drink a beer and hang out. Like it's like like a watershed kind of thing. And so when you go over there, everyone's sitting in a lawn chair and they just sit there and they wait for your song to be over, and then you hear the clap and then silence.
Wow. So like, okay, next song, please.
Yeah, right.
So I'm interested because I've never been there, and I've always like one day I want to get to that point. I want to visit Paris and check out different places around the world. How was it to get there? Did somebody like from China say, "We want you to come perform for us," or was it a management standpoint? What made you go there?
I don't know if there's. Well, we went over to China. That was a layover on the way to Australia, so we didn't actually play in China. I don't know if they listen to country music in China.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we actually asked one of our drivers, because they took us out to the Great Wall. We were like, what's country music in China? And they turned on something that sounded nothing like country music. So I don't know if he knew what I was talking about or
He's
what.
like, okay.
It sounded like some historical China music that you'd hear like 400 years ago.
Right.
So maybe it's just like their cultural background where they came from.
Interesting.
But it wasn't anything like
well,
this.
Let's get you back over there and go play over there.
Right.
It could be a first time for everything, right?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. Okay, so Australia, same thing. Did you go down for a festival? I know every year they do the big C2C festival.
We did. We went down there for it's a festival called Tamworth Country Music Festival.
Okay.
So that's like one of the biggest. I think it is the biggest like country music festival in the southern hemisphere is what they call that one.
Right.
So that was a blast. We went down there for that, and then we actually ended up doing like 4 or 5 other club shows where we traveled around and did an evening with dates, and it was cool because we actually we drove the whole thing, which was nuts.
Right.
Because you look at Australia on a map, it looks pretty decently sized, but until you get out there and you start driving, we did all the major cities along the East Coast, Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne. And, when you get out, we drove all the way out to Adelaide from like Tamworth, which is out near Sydney. And that drive is through the outback. You've seen nothing for like 12 hours. I kid you not. If you see a gas station, you stop.
Right, because you're like, I just got to see somebody else.
All you're seeing is kangaroos the whole way.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. So when you say it's just completely flat, like no mountains, no nothing, just is a little bit
desert.
of
It's desert.
Really?
It's like, I'd say it was more flat than like driving through Nevada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah. That's very fun. Let's go back to the States now. So you've been traveling everywhere. Yeah. Is there some place that you have not seen yet that you're like, I have to get to this city, or I want to perform at this festival and fair? Because the routing, obviously, like for some of the other artists that travel, let's say Carrie Underwood, when they try to do a big tour, they try to hit all the major cities, and on a radio tour, it's completely different. You're trying to hit every radio station to shake hands, and here's my music, play whatever. Where is a place that you have not been to yet that you really are just dying to get to, that you might have read or heard about, that you're like, I have to see this destination? Yeah,
I think for me, radio tour, between radio tour and touring, we've almost been to all 50 states now. I think we've been to 45. So I think all that's left, because after we came back from Australia, we hit Hawaii.
Okay.
And so we got to be there. And the only states I haven't been to, funny enough, is, being from Washington, haven't been to Alaska yet.
Okay.
So that's kind of one that's on my bucket list. To got to get up there. And then also we haven't been to like Maine or like any of the New England area states, Vermont. And what else? The little ones up there.
So here's an idea for you. So
we don't even know the names.
You're right. They're also a little tiny.
Rhode Island.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's a little idea for you. Since you're doing your own routing, what you need to do is finish here today, go to your next stop, and then go straight to the East Coast. Right.
Just finish it off.
Yeah, finish it off there, and then start your new season 2020 in Alaska. And then come back down the coast, and then we'll see you again in 2020.
That would be a pretty cold start to 2020.
Yeah, true. If you start in January, of course, it's really cold in Alaska.
I'll bring a coat, man.
Right on. So I want to know, since now you're traveling so much and you've been thinking about that first major paycheck when it comes in, what's the first thing you want to splurge on?
Ooh.
That you haven't splurged on yet?
Oh, man. That's tough. Ooh.
Like a new truck?
I might go, when the time is right, as a kid, you're like, I want to be in a tour bus.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't want to jump the gun on it. I'm not saying that I want to get into it anytime soon, because that's a big commitment,
Yeah.
Tour bus. I'd go tour bus. Once we're at that level to where we can, sustain that year round, that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, you're in the training already. You're traveling, 100 dates already. Right. You're like, I'm out and about on the roads. This is what it's like. Well, just so you know, Marathon Coach, the home of like Nashville buses, is right down the road in Eugene. So you go down there and customize your own bus.
Oh, perfect.
Didn't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't know that.
So now you got to make a trip. You got to go down there and do it. I love it.
I'll take
Dylan,
thank you. Marathon. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for coming back to Portland. We're so happy to see you. What's the plans for 2020? Tell us a little bit where we can see some new music, new albums, whatever's going to be happening with you in 2020.
Yeah, we got the new record I Am that came out earlier this year in March, and In America is the first single off it that we've been doing the radio tour on. And we're just kind of riding this single, seeing where it takes us through the end of summer and into early fall, and probably going to pump a couple more singles out of this new record and just get back out on the road. And the song's getting played on like 84 stations around the country right now, which is wild. So now we have the opportunity to get out there and really meet the fans, which is kind of what that's what I've always been about, is getting out and doing the live show and really connecting with everybody. So,
well, it's been 2 years since you've been at the Jamboree.
Yes.
So we need to bring you back and then get on that main stage.
I love the Oregon. That's one of my favorite country music festivals in the whole U.S.
Country? Yeah. We've got a lot of great. I mean, the thing about that festival is so family oriented. I love it.
That's what I love about it so much.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Now, did you guys play on the smaller Spirit Mountain stage?
I think we did both. This was back in 2016.
Right?
So
I was trying to remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, we need to get you back for sure.
Yes.
So definitely.
Yeah, pass along.
2020 is right around the corner. So. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dylan Jakobsen. Let's hear some more great music from you, bud.